Alright, this here is going to be layout fitting number 4. This is for the face of the stand at the top portion. To do this, first we set the scribe at 1 inch. We mark the long end, then both of the short ends. Next, we set the scribe at 2 inches. Mark it right in line with the 1 inch, parallel to the 1 inch. Turn it around, set the scribe to 3/4 of an inch, mark that, and then notch it out. The notches are going to be on the 3/4 and 1 inch intersection, and then the next intersection will be at the 2 inch and 1 inch intersection. Now when this is bent up, we're going to bend this at a 90 and this at a 90. This is going to remain flat. These two will be bent by hand at a 90 inwards also, all of them bending upwards. Alright, this is as far as I could get the bends in the break on the sides. From here we just take the tongs or hand seamers, whichever you want to call them. We only call them tongs. Finish bending those up. And that finishes off that fitting. Alright, this is the layout fitting number 5 for the stand, and for this what we need is a piece that is 14 3/8 inches by 10 3/4 inches. First we need to set the scribe at 1 inch. Mark 1 inch along the bottom and both the sides. Going back to the bottom, we reset the scribe to 2 inches. Make another mark. Then going to the top of this piece, we set the scribe to 3/4 of an inch and make another mark. Now we're ready to cut it out. Once again, the intersecting points we're going to be cutting out, set the 3/4 and 1 inch. Then also at the 1 inch and 2 inch intersections. We're going to bend this one up just like we did the last one. Alright, here we've got the number 6 layout fitting. This is going to be caps, and we need 2 of them. These are unlike the others. These actually need to be out of 24 gauge. The reason is that there's a lot of weight, both that are going to be on top of it with the stove sitting down on it, and there's going to be a lot of weight under it from all the wood sitting inside it. And so make sure that these are out of 24 gauge and make sure it's well secured. You don't want to be moving your stand when there's wood in it and all of a sudden the bottom drops out. The first thing we need to do is set the scribe to 1.5 inches. Mark all sides at 1.5 inches. And then for clarity purposes, right here is where it intersects. And this is just like on the stove with the caps. We don't want to cut right exactly where that intersects. Otherwise what's going to happen is when we go to bend it up, it can be a little bit too tight. If you cut it just a little bit past the intersection at a 45-degree angle, about like so, then it's going to make that cap fit in a lot more easily. So all 4 of the corners will get cut like that. And just like with the other caps, if you're going to bend it on the brake, you want to do your 3/4 marks. The 3/4 mark will actually be on the other side. But since I'm going to be bending this up in the bar fold, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to bypass that and go straight to the bar fold. Alright, I've got the base here, and this is one of the caps I just barely finished bending up. To put it together, first we take out the number 1 fittings. These are the sides, and they'll slip down inside the cap, just like so. We do this to both of them. Now, I'm going to take the back piece and slide it into the S portion and then slide it down on into the cap. This is one part where you're probably going to definitely want gloves so you don't cut your hands while you're trying to push this down in. Alright, now once you get this in, you need to first make sure that you're level up at the top here and tap it down a little bit if it's not. Also make sure it's nice and flush out here. Here, I do have a little overhang. Alright, now on the front pieces, here are the number 3 fittings, and they'll slide in the same way. Make sure it's level at the top too. And do it with the other one. Alright, and then with this, put the top cap on. Alright, now with the top cap in place, we're good to go and put screws on the inside where these have joined together, and that's what's going to hold it together. Then we're going to take this to the brake and physically clamp down on this cap, and that's going to stop all this rattling noise. Once we get that part, then we're back to putting in the top piece and the bottom piece. However, do note that we're not going to clamp this front side down first because we still have the top piece that's got to slide in. Same with the bottom, so I'm going to clamp down all 3 sides except for the front. That'll be done very last.